Last year I made John a birthday cake. The year before that I made him a birthday cheesecake. So it's that time of year again. So I'm going to make him a cake. Now, it's kind of a tradition now that Mum makes the birthday cake. But there was a request independently from both Anna and John not to make it quite so big this year, please, Kate. So I've found a chocolate cake recipe. It's Nigella Lawson's simple chocolate cake. It's smaller than the cakes I've usually made, and I'm going to put it all together here now. It's quite a simple cake. There's nothing earth-shattering about this cake, but I think the decorating is going to be loads of fun. So we'll come back at the very end and do that. So for now though, I've printed out the recipe just so that I can look at it easily without having to keep going backwards and forwards to the computer. It's all in grams, but I'll put the either the link to the recipe or the recipe in the description below, and I think I can get it in cups and imperial as well, so we'll see how we go with that. But for now it's going to be a simple chocolate cake recipe because that's what Anna and I decided we would do this year. Okay then, so right from the start I haven't got the right size cake tins. I'm supposed to have 8-inch or 20 centimetre cake tins, and these are 9-inch 23 centimetres. So the cake's going to be a bit thinner, but that's all right, lots more room for decorations. And there's one ingredient in here that you might not expect, and that's sour cream, and that's coming in later. Nigella, she's a bit of a one. So 200 grams of flour. Now I've got a bowl here with a sieve on it because I'm going to sieve the lumps out of everything. Flour, sugar, leavening agents. Okay, so 200, oh yeah, I've got it on grams. 200 grams of flour. Oh, 199, 200. I think that's fine. And I'm just going to sieve that into there. 200 grams of flour and a teaspoon of baking powder, and half a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, which is not, I'm not used to putting that in to cakes, but she wants it, so I'll put it in. Chemistry, cakes is all about chemistry. Okay, so, and then the sugar, let's see, what order? You want to mix the flour, sugar and leavening agents. So the sugar then is caster sugar. How much of that? 200 grams of caster sugar. So let's get that in there as well. It's a lot of sugar. That's a cake though, I suppose. Oh, and hang on, she wants me to put the oven on. To 180. So I'm just going to sieve that into there and that into there. And the next measurement we need is 40 grams of cocoa powder. I hope I've got 40 grams of cocoa powder. It's quite lightweight stuff, this. Oh, far more. 40 grams of cocoa powder, 46, but that's okay. 40 grams of cocoa powder. Where do we put that, Nigella? Cocoa, sour cream, vanilla and eggs. Oh, okay. So in a different bowl, I'm going to put the cocoa powder. I'm going to make a lot of washing up, aren't I? Cocoa powder. Summer birthdays are the best, aren't they? They really are. I'm hoping when I take this cake to John and Anna and Frank the dog, that we can meet outside in the garden and have a little bit of a birthday celebration. I'm hoping so. So that was a mistake, wasn't it, doing it with my knuckles? Yeah, I'm just going to get a mess everywhere, aren't I? But then it wouldn't be a cake by Kate if it wasn't messy. Now, what does she say to do? Whisk together the cocoa, sour cream, vanilla and eggs. Vanilla. I've got this lovely, lovely vanilla bean paste, which is empty. So fortunately, I've got this lovely, lovely vanilla bean extract, which is what she asked for anyway. 2 teaspoons in there. Yes. Now, a word about the eggs, because of course they're my eggs, aren't they? Well, not mine, the hens. The eggs are small. I have some bantams, some really little hens, and so the eggs are small. So how many eggs does she say? 2 large eggs. I'm going to put 4 small eggs in, because look at the size of them. They're tiny. Well, you look at the size of them. They're tiny. Also, when I was collecting the eggs the other day, I dropped this one, so it's got a little crack in it. So we'll crack this one into a cup, because I've already started the cracking of it. So that's 1 egg. Yeah, I just like to test when it's a couple of days like that, if it's okay. So what do we need to mix this with? So it says 2 large eggs. So that's 1 not very large egg. I'm going to put 4 in. 1, 2. That's 1 egg. Let's call that 1 egg. Yeah. 2 eggs. No, 1.5 eggs. 2 eggs. Yes, look at the size of that. It's tiny. 2 eggs. Okay. Right, there's 2 eggs in there. 4. And what else? And now she wants how much? 150 millilitres of sour cream. I can do mil on here. Fluid ounces, mil. Now then, so how much do you want? 150 ml of sour cream. I wonder how much that is. Let's try it in here and see what happens. 0 that. 150 ml. Actually, the sensible thing would have been to look, oh, it's 300 ml. To look on the side of the packet, wouldn't it? Right, 150 ml of sour cream in there. So that's the cocoa, the vanilla, the quantity of eggs and the sour cream. And I'm just going to mix all that together and make a really gorgeous, gooey, chocolatey, eggy, vanilla-y, creamy mess. And that can just sit there behaving itself. Do you know, I think I need another bowl. No, I know what I'll do. Okay. Now, butter, of course. 175 grams of soft butter. So this is beautiful. Look at that. It'll be a good cake, this one. But not enormous. Apparently, the cake I made last year, it was so big they were eating it for days. And John even took some to work to share out. It was like, oh, not more cake. So definitely not doing that again. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is beat the butter. So that's all the dry ingredients there, the sugar, the flour and the baking powder and so on. But now I need, so 175 grams of soft butter. Grams, we go back to grams again. There we go, and 0 that. And the butter's here. It's a good kitchen, this, everything's to hand, you know. It's just brilliant. But I want to put this on something, don't I? I'll do it on a plate. Another bit of washing up. 0 of that. Okay, 175 grams of soft butter. That's not terribly soft, but we'll beat it. I'm going to beat the living daylights out of it with my electric beater. Ooh, 172 grams, 177, that'll do. Always best to err on the side of more rather than less. So this butter then, that's all there is in here. I'm just going to beat it so it's a little bit softer. And I'll just check. I've got flour, sugar, baking powder, bicarb, cocoa powder, this stuff, butter, eggs, vanilla and sour cream. All the ingredients are now on the table somewhere. So I'm just going to beat this up. I'm going to do it over here. Chat amongst yourselves. So that's worth doing because it loosens up the butter a bit and makes everything else easier to incorporate, so it's not quite so hard. Now, the next instruction then, what do we do next, Nigella? Flour, sugar. Okay, and now she wants me to beat the dry ingredients and the butter together and then fold that lot in. It's just like mix it all together really, isn't it? Because I've got a feeling it would be better if I just put everything in the same bowl. I think that's going to work. We'll do that. What's the worst that can happen? It's just a cake, isn't it? Okay, having measured out the butter so carefully, I don't want to leave half of it on the beaters, do I? Okay, I think that's enough of that. I'm combining everything now. A bit more. I'll scrape that down. Scrapey, scrapey. That worked, didn't it? Okay. Cake tins. Just wait till the oven's up to temperature before we put it in. Well, that was a simple enough cake, wasn't it? How long does it go? Oh, I didn't print that bit out. I'll have to look in the website for that part. But yeah, cake. I've got some nice things to decorate it with. But I'll do that tomorrow, because it's tomorrow that I'm going up to where John and Anna live. Okay, let's just make sure I've got every bit of flour in there. If I'm making this and not filming myself, I just do it over there, because that's where the plug is. So there you go, that looks okay. Now, it's going to be 2 thin cakes or 1 tall cake that's not cooked in the middle. What are we going to do? We could get terribly scientific and measure it, couldn't we? Let's do that. Never done that before. Okay. Okay. So 0 that. All right. Oh, I've never done this. Make sure we get half the mixture in. Okay, so that's 312. I'll do 300 and something here. I'm using these liner things. You can't see. No cats allowed in here. Oh, 468. Okay, let's get this one to 400. Definitely not, Norma. So this one is weighing them's quite a good idea, isn't it? I bet they do that on the Great British Bake Off. Weigh them out. It's probably where I've seen it. 412. I'll do. A bit more there. Yeah, it's going to be quite a thin cake, but that's okay. 412, 430, 441, 468. I'm not going to get obsessed about this, guys. 452, 458, that's fine. That's completely fine. So I'm using these liner things. These used to belong to my mum. She used to use these. You buy them pre-formed and they line a cake tin. It's very thin. Be fine, don't worry. And so they line your cake tin. I mean, they're a bit wasteful because they're single use. Mind you, so is greaseproof paper, isn't it? Single use as well. However, these are probably an expensive way to line your cake tin, but I have them. And so until they've all gone, I'll use them up. And I probably only bake about 3 cakes a year. Okay, so I'm just sort of evening those out. The oven's hot now. How long do they go in for, Nigella? That's on the other bit of the instructions, which I haven't got, so I'll find out in a minute. There they are. They're going to go in the oven now. I'm no Nigella Lawson, am I? Oops, a daisy. In the oven. I'll put them in for 20 minutes and then I'll check to see what they should be on. Okay, back in a sec. So Nigella says 35 minutes, but check after 25. So I'll put 5 more minutes on there. 25 minutes. They're quite thin, so that might be enough. Okay, we're going to have a bit of a clear round now, and then we'll get them on the cooling racks and they'll be ready to decorate tomorrow, and I'll show you what we're going to do with them tomorrow. See you then. It'll be one second for you, 24 hours for me. The cakes are out now and I've washed the dishes, and the mic battery is dead, so I'll put it on to charge. So I'm hoping that you can hear this. But in reading on in the recipe, I found that there's an icing that I can make. So I'm going to do that. And so the first thing I need to do, I've got the ingredients here: 175 grams of chocolate. And what she wants me to do with that is melt it. So over there on the stove, I've got a pan with a bowl over it, and then there's 75 grams of butter, and we're going to put those both in the bowl and melt them over some hot water. And the butter too. There we go. So while those are melting, we'll get the other things ready. And there's, in this pot, there's the other bit of sour cream, 125ml of sour cream. And that's great because that's one whole tub of sour cream. That's obviously why the ingredients say to do that. So that's ready to go in. And then in here, 300 grams of icing sugar. Now, I've done 250 grams of icing sugar because it's just too much sweet going on, isn't there? A teaspoon of vanilla again, and a tablespoon of syrup. So all of those things go together, get all mixed together. Now I'm not going to need these till tomorrow, but that's fine because I'll just cover them over with plastic wrap and put them in the fridge and mix them all back up again tomorrow, and it'll be perfect. So I thought I'd make it while I've got all the ingredients out. So I'll get the cakes now and put them on the cooling rack. So here they are. That one's a bit lopsided, but that's okay. Oh, it's nice and soft and springy. Oh, I like the look of that. And then the other one is still very hot, but not too hot to hold. There we go. Okay, so I'll just make all this icing ingredient, and I'll probably put it in the middle as well. And I've got some fruit. We're going to decorate it with all of that. So I tell you what, I'll put the, because I didn't write the method down, I just wrote the ingredients down, but it's fairly obvious, isn't it? That everything just goes in together. I'll do it at the end. Maybe I'll read the method. John's birthday is lovely. It's in the summer, in June. What a lovely birthday. He always had some great outdoor birthdays. My other two children, their birthdays are February and December, and my birthday is January. So all of the winter babies. And then John, who was like the sunshine. His favourite colour was yellow. I'm not sure if it still is, but it definitely was his favourite colour when he was little. He used to, I remember one time he went to school and a friend of Martha's said, John is wearing every single item of clothing John is wearing is yellow. His underpants were yellow, his socks were yellow, his trousers were yellow, his t-shirt was yellow, and I knitted him a little yellow hat. He was about 4. He looked amazing. Yeah, he did. He liked yellow a lot. Okay then, I'm going to decorate this cake now. It's been made a day now, and so I covered it over with this plastic wrap. Once this plastic wrap's all used up, I'm not going to buy any more. I just had this left over, and so I think it's a good idea not to use plastic. I'll find an alternative. I'm not so keen on those beeswax wraps, but I'll find something or other. Okay, so there's my cake then. There it is, and the 2 pieces of the cake are there. So I'm going to put this top there, and then here, I've got some fruit, cherries and strawberries, and this is the frosting. I've had the frosting in the fridge, and let's just feel how dry that is. You know, I've got half an idea. I'm going to do it. So there's one thing that I've seen about cakes and how to keep them lovely and moist is to put a simple syrup on between the layers, and this is only 2 layers of cake. But what I'm going to do, because this is cherry and chocolate cake, I'm going to put a little tiny bit of kirsch, hardly any, which is a lovely cherry liqueur. So I'm going to make some holes in here and then just put a tiny bit, so it hardly tastes at all, but just gives us a little tiny bit of moisture. So we'll do that. We'll get a teaspoon, just a teaspoon, and we'll get this little bit of kirsch. Yeah, it smells lovely of cherries. Just a tiny bit. There we go. And I'm just going to just dribble that over the cake. There it is. 1 more teaspoon. And there might just be a little hint of cherry liqueur in there. There now. It'll make it moist as well, because who wants dry cake? Okay. So now I'm going to put a layer of our frosting, our icing, in the middle here. I'll just get a knife. Now I've tasted this stuff. It's very, very sweet, and I'm not that bothered about how sweet it is actually. So I'm just going to put a thin layer on. I'm not going to bomb it with too much. I've got it on a very pretty plate, but it's a plastic plate because we're going to be eating outside. It's a plastic picnic plate, which is a lovely thing I got years ago. Yeah, so for my money, that's all the cake middle. We don't need this to be full of very sweet, sickly. I don't think we do. Now, but what might be nice though is if we put some slices of strawberry in between there. That's a good idea, isn't it? Let's do that, shall we? Take the little top bit off, and we'll just slice some strawberries on top of there. That'll be another means of keeping the cake nice and moist. I'll just put these all the way around. And some of these strawberries aren't quite beautiful enough to go on the top, so they can go inside. We'll audition strawberries now for the ones that can go on top of the cake. Got the whole out there. That's probably about enough, just to get a little slice in there, and also take the edge off the sweetness of that icing. Possibly just do a bit more on this side where this person hasn't got any. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. So beautiful, summery, gorgeous day. And so Anna and I have been planning the nice food that we'll eat for John's birthday supper outdoors. There now. Okay, so I'm going to put the top on that now. Carefully transfer that across there. Like that. And now, because I'm so pleased with that idea, I'm going to kirsch it again. Just to make it nice and moist. It's a good idea. It's only been 2 teaspoons per cake. It's hardly anything. You can use a simple sugar syrup, which is simply sugar and water. But as I've said already, we've got quite a lot of sugar in this cake. Well, cake, that's what cake is, isn't it? Sugar. Oh, I haven't got my mic on. I hope you can hear okay. Now, we'll put another layer, but quite a thin one, on top of the cake. And then we'll decorate it with cherries. Let's see if we can spread that all the way out to there. Yeah, this is enough icing. I've got half a bowl of icing left now, guys. Okay. And we may need a little more to stick the cherries on. There's a bit there that's unstuck. So I've got the cherries here, they're fresh cherries. So of course they've got a stone in them, but I've got this very neat stone remover. Really cool. So that you don't get a piece of stone when you're eating your cherry, you just pop that in there and out pops the stone. It's perfect. So this then is an absolute godsend when you're trying to take stones out of a cherry or an olive. Works well for olives too, and it just pokes them through the bottom. It's absolutely brilliant. Okay then, so cherries are going on this cake, and I'm just going to bomb them on. I'm not going to think too hard about it. They're just going to go on there, and maybe some strawberries around the outside. Or you want one in a slice, don't you? Yes, that's what we want. So let's put these on like, yeah, one in a slice. What about that? That works, doesn't it? And then some strawberries. And then I might see if I can find any, I don't know, embellishments, let's call them. But I'll tell you what I have got. I've got these lovely beeswax candles, tiny ones that I bought back from Ted's the last time I was there. And they're all in pairs like Ted's candles are. I'm going to put 33 candles on, that's how old John is. But would those candles, would that look ridiculous if they were inside the cherries? Yeah, it really would. So I'm just going to poke them in. And what I might do is give you an idea about what I'm going to do and then do it when I actually get there. Do you think they look nice? Yeah, well, let's bomb the top with candles. I think we probably will, but not till we get there. Right, I'll take those candles with me. I'm going to carry on now putting more and more things on this cake. What about some cherries? No, they're not cherries, are they? Those are strawberries. What about some strawberries? It'll look nice by the time I'm finished. Okay guys, that's John's birthday cake for this year. We'll see if he likes it. I'm going up a bit later on.
Okay.
Okay, John. Thank you for helping me light all your candles. There's a lot.
Might be here for a while.
You might be here for some time. These candles, just take one out like I have. Look how clever am I.
Very smart.
So John, I listened to what you and Anna said last year and said, please don't make the cake quite so big. So it's smaller than last year's.
It is. I mean,
considerably.
a bit smaller.
It looks very good.
It's grand.
Well, it's a chocolate cake with a little bit of kirsch in the layers.
Ooh.
These candles aren't going to light, are they? They just keep going out. These are little beeswax candles I got from Ted. Have I already said that?
You haven't told us.
Okay. They're not going to work, are they? Let's try a bit longer because it's a little tiny bit breezy. I'm up in John and Anna's garden. Oh, we've had a lovely
These have all just gone out.
meal. This is not going to work, is it?
They're just
No, look,
about.
yeah,
They're just
They're
about
just
lit.
staying.
just don't laugh.
No. Look, that one's come back.
Yeah, they've all my
Yeah.
side have come back.
Oh yes, look, you've done really well. Your little forest over there's a light. This is great. So, I was very pleased when I saw these candles at Ted and I thought, it was months ago, I thought, oh, I know what I'm going to do with them.
She's getting serious whack on them.
You're getting whack on the cake. So this year then, birthday John,
Ah, yeah. Another
year.
another birthday. Are the 33?
they're not quite. Are they all lit now, that one?
And that one.
Where? Oh, right.
In middle.
Okay. This looks nice. Yeah.
Oh, well done. Very good. Very impressive. Good work, Mother. Good work. That's what you were hoping for.
Yeah, that was the picture I wanted. Oh, happy birthday, darling.
Thank you. Shall I blow them
Happy
out?
birthday.
No, don't blow them out for a minute. I think they're really sweet. Let the wax drip all over the cake first. So, the pearls of wisdom, John.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thoughts on being 33?
Yeah, it's good times. Good time to be alive.
Is it
Yeah.
a bit weird time to be alive, do you not think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slightly curious time to be
We're having a
alive.
lovely time. We've had a nice meal.
We have, yes.
We had flan, which of course is the only meal to have in the summer.
I'm going to blow them out, all right?
You can do whatever you wish. Happy birthday, darling.
Thank you.
Hey!
Took 2 goes.
Did you make 2 wishes then?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good. Okay,
Great. Should we have them out then?
yeah, let's do that. Let's.
Did you make a wish?
Yeah, I did.
You can make another wish when you cut it.
Isn't that on a wedding?
Oh, is it?
Ah, you can do whatever you like.
Actually, you can make the rules up, John.
Absolutely.
I like these little candles.
Yeah,
They're
you've
sweet,
done well
aren't
to
they?
find them, I must say.
It's a lovely garden, this. I mean, it's a pretty rural community we're in, which is why we keep hearing tractors going backwards and forwards.
Yeah, it's rural.
But you do get a lot of birds in your garden.
We do. I think I'm on to 72 species in the garden, maybe?
Really? And tell us your rule about that. It's like they're in the garden or you can see
No,
them from the
seen
garden.
or heard, in or from. So
Oh, it's got a little saying.
it could be 2 miles away, but I could be in the garden,
With
and
you-
then it would count. Or
How could you see it?
With telescope.
Okay.
Or I could be 2 miles away, and it could be in the garden.
And you see it with your telescope.
Yeah, and it
That's a
would count.
strange scenario.
That's not going to happen.
You're 2 miles from the house looking at your house through a telescope and you see a bird you've never
Yeah.
seen before. That's never going to happen.
Also heard, so if you hear it from the garden. So for example, we got little owl
Ah,
in the field over there, and that was just heard from the garden.
that's a sharp knife.
Certainly is.
Oh, we need forks maybe. Do we need forks?
Maybe.
So little owl
Yeah.
from the garden, in the garden, from the garden.
Heard from.
Okay. Yes, I'll go and get some forks.
That I had.
There you are, John.
That was delicious. Look at those cherries.
Happy